Well, hello again, it's Kathy with Rosie Vespa Rider. This ride that we're doing today is actually, there's probably actually going to be 3 or 4 parts to it. The first part, which is this one, which takes me from home up to Tuggerah, is a ride to first catch up and meet with a new person who's going to be joining me for the ride. Her name is Marie, and we're meeting her not too far, just up at the local beer, wine and spirits shop, which sounds like an odd place to meet, but we both live locally, and that's sort of a neutral area to catch up. When we catch up, we'll have a little chat, and then the two of us will ride together up to Tuggerah, where we're meeting the rest of the group. And the group that I'm talking about is actually a group that I found on Facebook for female riders who live on the Central Coast, and just the most lovely ladies in the group. I've met quite a few of them now, maybe about 5 or 6 of them. Fee, who I've ridden with before and talked about in my other videos, that's where we met, and Marie is another person. I have to fill up with some fuel. I've probably got about half a tank, but because we're out for the full day today, I thought I'll fill up now and then I won't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. I still have a little bit of trouble filling the tank. I have to just be really careful how much I put in and how gently I squeeze the nozzle, otherwise the fuel just goes everywhere. Anyway, it's full now, we've paid, and now we are going to head to the meeting point at BWS, just up the road. We're in Wyoming at the moment, and I'm just going to do a sneaky around the back of one of the parking lots to get back to the main intersectional roundabout that I need to get through. But sometimes it can be a bit tricky getting out the other way, so it's just as easy to sneak through the KFC drive-through section and come out the other side. It's only about I think it's around 8 o'clock in the morning. The GPS device says it's 10:32, but that's actually the time of arrival into the location that I've plugged into the machine. Later on, I will try and change that to the actual time of day, because Rosie, for some reason, is a little bit out, and she is saying it's about 20 minutes later than what it actually is, which is a little bit annoying. So I'll just use the GPS clock and switch it over to the right time rather than the time to arrive at the destination. This roundabout's a bit hairy McCleary from Donaldson's Dairy, but because it's so early this morning, it's not too bad. So we're heading up the Pacific Highway, past the big Coles shopping centre on our, that was Aldi, on our right, coming up past the big Coles shopping centre at Wyoming on our right as well. Caravan park on our left, and we're just going to do a very quick little left-hand turn at this next roundabout so that we can pull in at the back to where the BWS shop is and meet Marie. Marie has a new, I think she bought it new, Vespa Primavera 150. And what was interesting about that is that the Primavera has a 150cc engine, and my GTS has a 150cc engine. So same engine, but different bikes. So I'm just pulling up here to get out of the way until Marie arrives. Marie decided to bring her husband along as well, who will be riding at the rear of us. So that was really nice to actually have him along. He's an accomplished rider, and it made us feel a bit more confident. Well, it made me feel a bit more confident, I'm sure, for Marie as well. I mentioned that Marie has the Primavera 150, and we noticed that it is a smaller framed bike than what my GTS is, and I would assume, or I know, it's a little bit lighter as well. So that was interesting. So my Rosie is about 150 kilos, and I think Marie's Primavera is, I think, somewhere between 120 and 130 kilos. So that's a bit of a difference, and physically they look different as well. So that's the first time I've come across another person with a 150cc Vespa, so it was good to compare the two different bikes. So now we are heading up through Wyoming and Narara, and we're going to head up through Arimba as well. This is a really nice road. I really like riding along this road. It's got a couple of curves in it. It's about 60k an hour. This morning there's not too many cars on the road. There's probably more travelling in the opposite direction than the direction that we're going. So past the shops here at Narara. And a lot of this section of the road up to Arimba is fairly new. They did a lot of work over this over the last couple of years, and so the actual surface of the road is lovely, really easy to ride on, and it's only 60k even though it's a lovely stretch, and you have to always be really careful that you're not going over the speed limit, because it's always really easy to do that when you're on a really nice road, I've found. It happens in the car, but it happens even more so, I think, on Rosie. Look at that amazing sky. The camera has picked it up so beautifully. We'd had such bad weather during the week. In fact, one of the days, I think Tuesday, I couldn't go into the office because the weather was so bad and the trains weren't working very well. But today was just an absolutely glorious, warm, sunny day. It was freezing in the morning, and when I met Marie and her husband, they both have heated grips on their Vespa and motorbike, and oh my gosh, they felt beautiful. So I put my hands on the grips to try and thaw mine out, and then I tried Marie's husband's heated gloves, and they were delicious. So I'm sold on the whole heated glove thing, or at least heated liners for my existing gloves. I had bought some winter gloves, but they just feel too thick and clunky and make it hard for me to feel the throttle and the brakes on either side, and so I just can't seem to wear them. But the gloves that I'm really comfortable in are summer gloves, so it's a bit tricky. So I think I'll try and find some liners. So up here, this is a big intersection. We're going to go right and head towards that sort of Palmdale area. To our left is the M1, which is the main freeway, but this is the Pacific Highway that heads to Palmdale and on to Tuggerah, where we're heading towards. Up here on the left is Heather Bray Pies, who do a delicious custard tart. I love a custard tart, and they make a delicious one, but I'm trying to eat healthy, so I haven't had one in a while. But it's a really popular spot for people to come for lunch and have a pie and regenerate and get off the freeway for a little while if they're on a long trip. You can see that I'm kind of looking in my mirrors because I've lost Marie and her husband, and I'm not 100% sure why. So I decided that maybe I should pull over. They were right behind me when we were going around the roundabout, but then they've just seemed to have disappeared. So I've pulled over to just wait a little bit in the hope that they will catch up. And eventually they did. It took a little bit of time, but Marie had forgotten to do up her helmet, which is not ideal at all. So she and her husband pulled over to do up her helmet and then carry on. This section coming up here through the roundabouts is one of my, sorry, not roundabouts, but some of the curves, is one of my favourite little sections. The only thing that I don't like, and you can't just see it right at the moment, but you'll see it when we go ahead a little bit further around the roundabout, is down the centre of the road is kind of a I don't know what you call it. It's a line where it just feels like they've made one side of the road and then made the other side of the road and joined them together. But it's really wonky donkey in that middle bit, so you kind of have to decide whether you want to be in the left side or the right side, because if you try and ride on that centre bit, it feels like, even though I'm sure it's not, but it does feel like the tyre is getting stuck in the groove between the two, and you'll notice it a bit more when we get a bit further up, I think. But I do love this. I love the trees. It's a much quieter area, though you can see the M1 to our left. You can see the trucks and cars on the M1 heading up to Newcastle. This is the direction to Newcastle. Not too many cars on the road, so that's really nice. I don't actually think it's showing that line in the middle of the road that I was talking about. Maybe, yeah, there it is now. That's the line, and it feels wonky underneath your tyres, so you kind of have to decide, do I want the left side or the right side? If you're on the right side of it, it feels like you're a little bit too close to the cars coming in the other direction, so I went over to the other side because there was a car coming, but then that feels like it's too far to the side, so it's a little bit hard to find the right riding lane aligned for it, just along this little bit. But up through the nice trees, it's 70 k's along here, and then it slows down to 60, and obviously on the tight corners they've got some recommended speeds for those tighter corners. There had been over the years quite a few accidents on this stretch of the road, and so people now are generally cautious about the speed that they're doing, and there's obviously lots of speed signs to remind you to slow down. And this one's a very tight corner, so it says to go to 45, and what did I take it at? Well, Garmin says I took it at 43, so that's about right. And then I sped up a little bit. Did you see those big white gums, the ghost gums? They're beautiful. The only issue with some of the gum trees, from what I've read, and this might not be true, is that some of them have a really shallow root system, and so when we have big storms here in Australia, sometimes all of that rain and it makes the ground really soggy, and it compromises the root system of the trees, and they go kaplonk, and sometimes on the road, or sometimes on a bushwalking track. I do a lot of hiking or bushwalking, and after a lot of rain you often see trees that have come down because of that. The root system has been compromised because it's so shallow, and they fall down. And as you can see, there's lots of trees along the edge here, so that is a risk that you'll come across one, but not today. How lovely is it? So going around this corner, I'm going fairly slow at 51, kilometres an hour according to the Garmin. Oh, you can see there too, I've also changed the clock, so the clock now says it's 8:35. You'll also see on the Garmin that I'm following a route, and that's because the person who organised the ride today had actually sent me through some maps about where we were riding, because I said I was really spatially challenged, and so I wanted to map it out in case I got lost. And so I created a route in a different app and exported as a GPX into the Garmin Zumo XT2 so that I could use that to guide me of where I'm going. At the beginning of the ride we didn't quite follow the route, but we eventually caught up to what was pre-planned or pre-mapped in. Heading down now to the traffic lights. There's a big set of lights at Tuggerah. To the left is the big Tuggerah Westfield shopping centre. To the right, you keep going all the way and you'll head to Shelley Beach, and straight ahead you head to Wyong. And we're going to go straight ahead because just after these lights we're going to meet up with the other ladies for the ride. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. In the next one it will be the next section of the ride from Tuggerah to the next location. Bye for now.